right? You're good enough for your family, you're good enough for your partner, you're good enough for the world, you're good enough for your job. You are good enough. Because this idea of questioning whether we're good enough, I think it comes when people live our lives, or life just doesn't go the way we thought it would go, or when we miss out on opportunities, or where we feel like we're not chosen, and we internalize that and start to ask ourselves, like, especially if it happens in a heartbreaking way, or if it happens a lot, we start to question ourselves and ask ourselves, am I good enough? Am I good enough for my partner? Why did he leave? Am I good enough for this job? How come I didn't get it? Am I good enough for this promotion? Am I good enough for my friends? Why have they all left my life, you know? So you are good enough. You're good enough for the right people. You're good enough in the right circumstances. You're good enough. My example, when life was not going the way I thought it was in my marriage, right? I found myself asking myself if I was adequate, if I was good enough, if I was doing the right things, if I was worth loving, if I was worth. So I'd ask myself, if I'm good enough, then why is this happening to me? If I'm good enough, then why is this person leaving? And then in self-reflection and all that, I realized that yes, I was good enough. I was actually the best thing that happened to this person. I was actually the light in their life. In fact, I was so good enough, it became too much. It became too much for them. That's why I said earlier, for the wrong people, you will not be good enough, right? But for the right people, you will be good enough. So I was so good, it became too much, right? So to the wrong people, your light will shine so bright. It will shine so bright that to them it will become too much. It will become blinding, right? So they'd rather go in the darkness. They'd rather be in the darkness than be in your presence. They would rather be in the darkness and not face themselves and not face their depravity. So in all of that, it made me realize that people leaving my life, or people causing this trauma in my life, if I'm doing right by them, then them doing what they're doing has nothing to do with me. It's all about them. It's all about their pain, the pain they're going through, and it's all about the trauma that they haven't healed from. But because I'm the closest person around them, that gets projected on me. Is it fair? No, it's not. It sucks big time. But people who have not healed will go in and hurt other people. This is a topic for another day. But sometimes, of course, we do have a part to play in the things that happen in our lives. But like, if you're doing the right thing, and if you're living the right way, and if you're loving people the right way, and people still go ahead and do what they do to you, that's on them, right? But if you're living a life where you're the one that's hurting people, and you're the one that's being mean to people, and you're the one that's projecting your pain on people, then people return the favor. Then you can't sit there and say, I'm a victim. That's a different story altogether. But upon reflection and when you've healed, and you can look back at the situation, and you can say to yourself, but actually, no, I did right by you. I did right by you every day. I did the right thing by you. I loved you. I was there for you. I listened to you. I cared for you. I prayed for you. I had no malice towards you ever. And if you have been doing right by them, and they go ahead and still do what they do, you know, cause the trauma that they cause, hurt you, whatever they've done, then you can simply sit there and say, look, I was more than good enough for you. There's no way you can turn around and tell me that I'm not good enough because I did right by you. The problem is I was too good for you, right? The problem is not to say that in what's the word, in a big-headed way, or not to boast about yourself or anything. But girl, oh boy, if you know that you have not done anything to deserve any of this, then look, they just couldn't handle your light. They just couldn't handle who you were. They were going through, like I said, darkness was easier for them to deal with than the light, than your light, because your light meant that they needed to look at themselves and reflect upon themselves that, look, this person's light is shining. Maybe I should look in my own life and see where I'm going wrong. That way I can shine like them. So instead, what do? Try to bring you down to their level, try to dim your light, try to make you believe that you are not good enough, try to just mess with your head, and then you start questioning, oh, am I good enough? Or am I worth this? If I'm worth this, then why do they not choose me? If I'm good enough, then why do they leave? But sometimes it's for the better. Like I always say this on this channel, sometimes people leaving is for the better. And the sooner you realize that, no sir, I was the bomb.com. So that was your loss, and you not having me in your life is going to be the karma in your life, right? Because I was the best thing that ever happened to you. So you not having me in your life is going to be the karma you get for, I'm not saying be mean to people and wish karma on people, but it's the universe. It's how it works, right? You get what you give. So I say this to say to you that you are enough. It doesn't matter what the other person thinks. What matters is what you think about yourself, right? And if they don't appreciate your goodness, and if they don't appreciate your enoughness, then that's on them. Just remember that you are enough. You are good enough. You are worthy. You are deserving of everything that's good in life, right? Just because other people don't see that, it doesn't mean that you don't deserve it. So yeah, if you ever find yourself in a position where you're asking about your worth, remember, you are good enough. You are not good enough for the wrong, sorry, you are good enough, but for the wrong people, you won't be good enough, or you'll be too good and they cannot handle it, and that's not on you. So till next time, thanks guys.